everyone. Good morning to everyone. Today we are going to start with the next chapter, that is chapter number 1.4, All the World's a Stage. Okay, it's a poem and a beautiful one depicting the different stages of human life, written by the famous poet William Shakespeare, who was born in the year 1564 and lived up to 1616. And he was a great English poet, a playwright, and a playwright is a person who writes the play. Okay, and he was the greatest writer in the history of English literature. He was also called as England's national poet of Bard of Avon. This poem is taken from the play As You Like It. So, this extract, All the World's a Stage, is taken from the play As You Like It. Okay. Here the poet has described various stages of the human life, as it right from the time of the birth of a person till the death of that person. So, in each, there is the figure of speech, the metaphor is introduced. Metaphor. The whole poem is that of metaphor. Okay. So, here the entry of a person, that is the of this thing, is the entry as if you are taking the entrance in the stage, playing different roles, and the exit is your death. Entry is the time of your birth and exit is the time of your death. And all the different stages here is like right from the person when he is born, that is a newborn baby, then the small boy growing up into a small boy or a girl, then the teenage stage, and then your adulthood, and then finally the old age and middle aged you will call yourself as, and then as the old age or the last stage. So, this whole life, it is kind of compared to the life to a stage, sorry, not life, it is compared to a stage where each each stage of a person, that is right from they are coming on the stage and playing their different role and exiting. Like suppose the entrance of a newborn baby, if you say, then that is the role it is playing. The child, the baby is playing its role of entering the world, then slowly growing up into a small young age, you could call it, as that again is your second stage. Then the third stage would be your teenage stage, where you have different various emotions and everything, when you start realizing what you are supposed to do and not supposed to do. Then you have the adult life, that is the fourth stage, I guess, where you make your career, settle down in your life and everything. Then you slowly move on to your middle age. That's where is almost your retirement age, where you are finally with your life settled, achieving your studies, your goals of whatever you had aimed of or dreamed of, finishing that off, and finally the old age where you are settled at home. Okay. Now, in this poem there is no rhyme scheme. It is called a free verse. Like in the last class what we had, that is 9th standard, whatever we learned, it is all about the rhyming scheme, and the majority of the poem in 9th standard was personified. But here we do not, we have various kinds of figures of speech introduced in the poems in the 10th standard, plus there is no rhyme scheme. That means the poem is basically a free verse where there is no rhyme scheme. It is called as free verse. Okay. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. See, the world is compared to a stage. So, it is an indirect comparison and it is called a, here in this line it is the metaphor. And all the men are men and women merely players. So, it is like we are playing different characters. If for example, if you take when I was born, I would have been a baby, then when a young child, a young girl, I would have been a young girl, that of a daughter, and then slowly a teenage girl with lots of dream and everything, that what would be my career, what would be my dream, what would be my future husband, and because I am a girl, or it is not only about the girl or anything, it's boys also think the same way, right? So, it's about that. So, with various dreams in my eyes, I have turned into a beautiful teenage girl. Then the adult life, that is a stage where I am married, I become a wife, because I am talking about myself. So, I will give an example of myself. So, I am married, I am a wife, I am playing the role of a wife. Now, first I played the role that of a daughter, then now I am playing that of a wife, and then I have children now, so that of mother, and this would be my, what do you say, middle age, this thing, stage where finally I am in peace with myself, that I have done what I am supposed to do, and I have, to an extent, I won't say, I don't know what other people think about me, but to an extent I feel that I have fulfilled all my duties as that of a daughter, as that of a wife, as that of a mother. Now slowly, because I am going into a old age, this thing, that would be the final stage for me, or the settling stage for me. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. So, before I come to the world, I have an entry, and that entry would be in the form of a baby, and finally when I exit the world, that would be my death. And one man in his time plays many parts. See, now if I talk about myself, so if I am talking about myself, I am here said one man, so here I would say one woman. So, I have played many parts. The moment I enter the world, I have played many roles, that of a daughter, a baby, that of a daughter, that of a lover, that of a wife, that of a mother. Now, by the time my children get married and settle, if I live to that extent, if God gives me that long a life, then I would be seeing my grandchildren, my son's children, my daughter's children. So, that would be the stage. Then I would be playing, I have not reached that stage yet, but if God gives me that extension of life, then I might even play the role of a grandmother before exiting the world. Okay. So, and his acts being 7 ages, at first the infant. So, his acts are of 7 stages so far: baby, younghood, then teenager, then adult, then that of a lover, that is a lover they have given over here, then the adulthood, then the old age. Okay. So, at first the infant. So, when you come to the world, it is that of a infant, where you are just born, mewling and puking in the nurse's arm. So, when you are born, if I don't know if you have seen, your mother is always in the hospital. So, it is the first person to take you in the arms is the nurse, and then you mewl. Mewling is that crying of a baby. They hit you when you are born, they hit you on your bums, and they say that when the child cries, and maybe because puking is vomiting, because it is so used to the mother's womb being inside there for 9 months and then coming out to the world, and suddenly taking something, they put medicines, the first drop of medicine and all the doctors put, so that is like bitter, so they might vomit also. Now, if you see in the nurse's arm, then the weaning whining schoolboy with his satchel. Now the infant has grown up into a schoolboy or a school girl. It's not only about boy, it could be, because depending upon the child. So the next stage, after being with parents for about say 2 to 3 years, in that infant stage, the time comes when your parents starts putting you in school. Okay, so you have to go, and it is a must that every child cries leaving the house, because they don't want to go to school. Even if you see in our school, you will find the small babies coming. Okay, some are smiling, some are okay, some are just waking, they are still sleepy and everything, and some are crying that they don't want to go to school. And shining morning face, of course the parents, they wake up the young boy, girl, and immediately dress them up, dress them up in the uniform and everything. There's that small little bag they carry on their back with tiffin and water bottle, and creeping like a snail, because you are being forced on. Nobody likes to go to school. Yes, when do you like to go to school? When you are in a teenage stage, that is school or colleges. Why? Because that's the stage you get to do what you want to do. But when that stage, everybody is crying and nobody likes school. But when the parents force, they go. But it is at the snail's pace. Have you ever seen a snail crawling? If you look at that, then you will find that the snail, it's just moving, just about crawling very, very slowly. So the child is also going to school in that pace. Unwillingly to school, and then the lover. After the school stage, you have the lover stage, because definitely you are the teenage stage come, and then you are like, you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then all that thing starts, right? That is the time when you really love school, that is of the higher standard I am talking about, and not of the thing. And then colleges, there again, bunk the class. Okay, mama, papa, we are going to school, college, but where do you go? That is entirely up to your imagination. Sighing like furnace with a woeful ballet, made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier full of strange oaths and birded like the pard. Now what is a pard? When it is an and then the lover sighing like a furnace. That's the stage where you like, okay, new girlfriend, acquire a new girlfriend, then you have a boyfriend, then that stage goes where you crib about each other and everything. And then a soldier full of strange oaths and birded like the pard. Okay, when you come out of that stage, that is once you leave the college, that's when you decide slowly you become a responsible person. That was the stage till the college was the stage where you were with your parents, and that young age and everything, you were like, okay, this is my life and I am going to enjoy. But as you are in the final years of your college and everything, slowly the wisdom starts settling in. Slowly you start thinking about what you want to become. Gone is the time when you want to flirt with with young boys and girls, but then comes a stage where you tend to become this thing. So you are like, okay, I am going to be an engineer, I am going to be a lawyer, I am going to be an IT person, I am going to be in defense and everything. So that is what is a jealous in honor. That's the time various things comes for your contribution towards the society, I would say, towards the society. That automatically becomes the world. So it is jealous in honor, as in you are trying to like, this is what I am going to contribute and this is going to be my aim. And and birded like a pard. Pard is nothing but leopard. Here they are talking about leopard. That is very quick, and the decisions are made very quick. Seeking the bubble reputation. That's where you decide, I have to become something, I have to make a reputation about myself, and it is compared to bubble. Why is it compared to a bubble? Because reputation is something, It takes a very long time to build a reputation, but the moment a small you falter or you make a mistake, there's like somebody has pricked the pin on the bubble and boom, it goes, the whole bubble breaks. Okay, so it takes, that's the time you try say, okay, this is what I'm going to be, and I'm going to make myself into such a person where everybody is going to know me. Okay. Even in the cannon's mouth, and then the justice, like you are ready to do what is good for yourself. In fair round belly with good capon lined, with eyes severe and bird of formal cut. Now that is the next stage. That would be the next stage where belly. So that is your adult age, where you have settled, quietly settled, you have achieved your dreams, you are going slowly into that sleep, that becomes a sleepy, what you call it as your sleepy form, where you are very comfortable with what you have done or what you have made out of yourself. That goes about like say about next 10 years. Okay, you wanted to become a lawyer, or you wanted to become a doctor, or whatever it is. So you are very comfortable in what you have achieved, and you know that for the next at least next 10 years nothing is going to be disturbed. So you go into it unless there is an unfortunate incident that might shake up your whole this thing. Like for example, this year we had coronavirus thing, so it was a very unexpected thing that came, and everything was a thing, but otherwise till now everything was going very smoothly. Okay. So that is and so he plays his part. That is the fifth part, that is, or the fifth stage, where he is settled. Here it means the settling of the life, where he might have become what he wanted to become. Maybe then he is married, having children and everything. That is what, and that's when you have the round belly. That's what he says, isn't it? Full of in fair round belly, because the wife, he's married, very settled with children and all. The wife is like okay, eat, take one more chapati, one more this thing, and that goes and settles in the belly. So, and with severe, so that's the fifth stage of his life. The sixth stage, or the sixth age, shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon. That is, the next stage is where he is slipping into slowly into his old age, but not that stage where he is going to be the same, but at the age where he is like kind of what would we call it as the retirement age. The retirement age, where he has been like all through his life he's been always being formal, wearing well dressed pant, shirt, tie and everything, going out for job 9 to 5 and whatever the timing is, and but now slowly the time when he has come, or the sixth stage of his life has come, where he is planning slowly to settle down, or the retirement age, where he has seen his children are all grown up, he has done his duty towards the child, brought educated and everything, and now the child will take over his stages. Into the lean and slippered pantaloon with spectacles on nose and pouch on his side. Then you will slowly find that as you grow older and all, your eyesight becomes weak and everything. That's when you start wearing glasses, and the pouch on his side, carrying it in a very leisure way, because he knows now that he doesn't have to hurry like he used to do it right from the time he has finished his graduation, and he has gone after achieving his dream, and once he has achieved, to maintain that dream. So all throughout the fifth stage, till the fifth stage, he has always been running, and the time flying by and everything. But now the time has come where he can take everything slowly. Achha, his youthful hose well saved a world too wide. So he has made whatever contribution he has to make towards the society, towards the world, towards his family, no matter whatever responsibilities he has done, he has finished with that. For his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again towards childish treble pipes. That is now the last stage. So, when he is coming towards his old age, that is as he is growing after 50s, the old stage is after 50, where you will find that his chin is becoming double chin and everything, then his he has started wearing spectacles, and the voice which we had where you used to be scared of your father's voice and everything, now that has slowly come down to that level where he is again going towards his second childhood. We will call it as the second childhood, where you have to respect that particular person, like no sorry not that particular person, it is your father, because he has done what he has. Now whatever you want, the moment you say, he does it, right. So, when a stage comes, it is your chance now to look after him, because he is going back to his old childhood stage, turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound. So, now the teeth are broken. So, when as you grow old, slowly the teeth grow. So, now we are these are the signs of the losing eyesight. When you are baby infant, that time again you can't see anything properly, you are just blankly staring. The only thing why you remember your mother or your immediate people is especially the mother. If you see, the infant never ever leaves the mother. Why? Because of the smell. It is not because the baby can see the mother or anything, it is because of the strong sense of smell that the baby has connected with the mother, because the baby is definitely inside the mother for 9 months. So, that smell is imbibed in him, and he knows what the mother smell. So, the moment it comes out of the womb, it knows that this particular smell is that of mine. That is why it is very attached to the mom. And the moment somebody else takes the baby, you will find the baby crying. Why? Because there immediately it can sense the difference between the mother's smell and the other's smell, I would say. Okay. So, it is the same thing, and it does not have any teeth and all, right. It is not the same thing that happens like when you are growing into the old age, you will find the eyesight slowly losing, the teeth are slowly going and everything. So, definitely the moment your father is breathing, or if you have grandfather, you will see that that whizzing sound comes out and everything. So, last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. That is, the second childishness is returning, or the second infant stage is coming back, where he is going into mere oblivion. Suppose if you by the time you are 70, 75, I think that is the age where you are still in your senses, but if once you now if God has some people are really this thing that even after crossing 80, 85, almost reaching the age of 85, they are still active. I am not saying that just because they have crossed 75 or nearing 80, that means they are losing senses. No, there are people, who even beyond 85, they are very well aware of their situation. But for some people, they might, because of some medical history or some problem or something, they might lose their senses. So, it is that if they are quite healthy and everything, they might still be very active even after the sign. So, it is that sans teeth is losing the teeth, sans eyes, that is losing the eyesight, sans taste, and then whatever you give them, because they are going into the oblivion stage, it does not matter what they are eating or not eating, whether it is sweet, whether it is bitter, whether it is hot, chili, spicy, nothing. So, sans everything. So, they are slowly moving away from this thing, and finally you will find that one fine day they are gone in their sleep. They basically go off in their sleep. So that's the stage. It is a very would you say it is a very emotional poem, or it's a very somber poem, I would call it as. What is somber? Somber is nothing but a very very the life, when you think about it, it's a very true, but the way it is, that kind of a life we have. Okay. So, this ends with our poem All the World's a Stage. As I was saying that there is no rhyme scheme in this poem, that means it is a free verse, but yes, we do have lot of figure of speeches in this. Now, as I said, the poem in as such as whole, that is All the World's a Stage as a whole, is metaphor. It is metaphor because it is, what is a metaphor? What is the difference between metaphor and simile? If you ask me, metaphor is the indirect comparison of anything to anything, but a simile is a direct comparison to one thing to the other. Okay. So, here on the stage, All the World's a Stage itself is a the life is compared to a stage. Then we have onomatopoeia, please, if you are listening to me very, very carefully, then if you have a pencil and everything, underline this: mewling and puking, that is onomatopoeia. Why it is onomatopoeia? Because you can, what is onomatopoeia? Onomatopoeia is nothing but the sound that we hear, or the words which make the sound of hearing, that is mewling and puking. That is, mewling is crying and puking is vomiting. Okay. And then the next, this thing, the whining school boy, because the baby is crying, the boy is crying going to school, that again is onomatopoeia. And shining morning face, creeping like a snail. Creeping like a snail, it's a simile. Why? Because the child is directly compared to a snail's pace, isn't it? So, creeping like a snail, so it is a simile. Then we have here sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad, with a woeful. So, here alliteration, this line is alliteration. Why is it an alliteration? Because W is repeated. What is the difference between alliteration and repetition? Alliteration is the repetition of the letter. Alliteration is the repetition of letters, and what is repetition? It is the repetition of words, repetition of words. Okay. Repetition of words. So, with a woeful ballad, that is alliteration. Next, we will continue in the next class. Whatever is remaining, we will continue in the next class.